Hi there, I'm Bea, a mixed media artist and creator. Join me as I explore art, creativity, and inspiration, one project at a time. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my studio. So glad you joined me today for another video. I hope you are all doing well and I hope you enjoy the spring weather like we have right now in Switzerland with sunshine and warmth as much as I do. We are looking forward to go back to the garden, my husband and I, but we still have to be a little bit patient because there still could be snow, there still are some frosty nights, so we have to hold back a little bit. Back to the table. I'm on a roll with jelly print lately. That's the way I work. Sometimes I get some supplies or some tools and work for a while with this, and then I go on to the next thing, and at the moment it is jelly printing. It probably has to do something with that I'm teaching right now, a jelly print live class in my area. So anyway, I have two piles here in case you are wondering. Well, those I mean they're even more than that, but just to give you an idea, jelly printing for me also means you have a lot of collage papers afterwards, because I would call them a failure. They did come out as much as I would like have. I mean, this one is upside down. It's just not, I think it's not how I want to use them as standalone artwork. So those go into collage pile, which is growing again, means I have to do some collages in the next future, I guess. One of my next projects. Anyway, those I call those which are worth working on. Sometimes it just means you can use them as they are, like I did with this one. It's a framed one. I just did use for the backgrounds some found objects to make a background, and then went over with mask or stencils to do a focal point. Talk about that later more. So those are those which I used just like they are. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera so you can see. Just doing the background and then adding masks and stencils and putting another layer of paint and then pulling again from the gel plate. But then I also did sometimes work a little bit on them. I'm gonna go as close up as I can. Can you see I did go around with the colored pencil, with the water-soluble colored pencils, to give them a little bit more of an outline, just to make it a little bit more prominent, the vases and the flowers. And those are done with hand-cut masks I did myself. So those I consider I still have to work on them a little bit with colored pencils. I'm not there yet with those. What about those? Yes, those I still have to work on with the colored pencil. Like this one, this jug here, that's finished for me. That I can frame or put it on a card or put it in an art journal, whatever. Again here, this is one I did work a little bit with the colored pencil. And this again, in my opinion, needs still a little bit of work after the jelly printing session. Those are all my hand cut stencils, and not stencils, masks. They are masks, and I did them just with any sort of a thinner plastic film. Sometimes you can use those plastic sleeve where you put in your papers and whatnot. Or what I use very often is these overhead projector transparencies, the foils where you could project on the wall in the old days. Nowadays everybody has beamers, I guess. Let me know in the comments if you still use an overhead projector. I don't. Anyway, those here are the from my shop. You can find those stencils. This is called Bea and Benny. We did do those on a walk in the snow, probably 3-4 years ago, where I took a photo from our shadows on the snowbank. Those are figures. It's either figure 1 or figure 2. I have two stencils which are called figures. They come in different sizes, so you can adapt to your size of your artwork or your art journal page. That's again the Bea and Penny stencil. Actually, this should go into the pile of the failures, which I'm going to use as collage papers. I think the whole bunch here, also they are clear prints. It is too busy for me. It is there's no real focal point for me. I probably should have used just the one of those figures and then 2 or 3 elements. Here the eye doesn't know where is the focal point. It has to go around. So those probably go to the failure pile. And that's a mask together with the stencil from my shop. And I just wanted to show you what a difference it makes. I think I have something similar here. Let's see. Yeah, here we have. That's even similar colors, maybe not the same masks, but what a difference it makes whether you look it through a framed piece, or maybe you could also do a card. I would put a mat underneath so that which peeks out a little bit, so it is more like in a mat. So that makes a whole difference how you look at those prints. I mean, those look, yeah, it's nice, but what am I gonna do it? Frame it, make cards out of it with little 4 frames around it. It looks so much different if you finish your artwork. This part just doesn't look like artwork which you would put somewhere or put on a card, but as soon as you cut it to the size and do a little bit around, it looks so much different. Anyway, I'm probably going to do more jelly printing. Just let me know in the comments if you would to see more jelly prints or if you have seen it now. Personally, I like to watch people doing jelly prints and getting inspired. So maybe you get inspired by my jelly prints too. If you have any questions about the time lapse that's coming now, just let me know in the comments. Take care. Bye. Okay, here we go. If you can hear me doing now a voiceover, it means I am happy enough with my microphone in my computer because my headset did break down and I haven't managed yet to buy a new one. Let's start with some hot pink and doing just a simple plain background. And as always, I try to use up every bit of paint, even the paint that was before on from another jelly print session. So there was some purple, I don't know what from, so that's on the background too. Next, I'm gonna go in with some yellow. I'm still what I consider as working on the background just to give it a little bit more interest to the whole finished piece in the end. Now, I usually stand up when I'm do jelly printing, so you're gonna see my head quite a bit. I'm sorry about that, but there's no way how I could do it different. So you did see me using some found objects from my stash. I have a whole stash of found objects to get a little bit more going on those backgrounds. And by the way, I did film every piece because I just let the camera roll and then I do edit out when I'm ready to do the video. So you're not going to see the whole pile I did show you in the previous intro, but just some little bits so that you get an idea how I do those prints. And I obviously did also speed up the process, so it takes a little bit longer than what you see here. In fact, I usually do a whole afternoon just jelly printing to my heart's content. Now, as you can see, I did use those cardboard rolls from different types of tapes, and those longish ones, those small ones, are actually from the weaving yarns. We still have a whole bunch of weaving yarns. I also did use those thread spools, and I'm not only taking it away from the jelly plate, but the remaining color I do stamp on another piece of background. So far I have used mostly translucent colors. The fluorescent colors, hot pink is always translucent, and the yellow was a translucent one too, or a semi-translucent maybe. I'm not sure, I don't remember. Now I'm using some opaque colors, still trying to get more background on my jelly prints. And here it is, my head again. Sorry about that. I did use this corrugated cardboard, but it is a wavy corrugated cardboard, and I don't remember, it was in some sort of a package, and I really like this wavy corrugation in combination here with the dots. And again, I'm using the color that is on the tool I used to get colors off. I use it to print it, which you could see clearly. And yeah, I'm just playing. I'm not looking too much. I'm not thinking too much ahead what I gonna do. I just want to play at the moment. That's the play stage. And I always say to myself, if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't look good, I'm gonna use it as a collage paper. Those are this is a netting from a potato bag that's on the jelly plate, and that's a shelf liner. And here I'm trying again to do a print with the netting on it, which came out really nice. Now I'm also working with some of my own stencils, but this time I put the stencil on and add some color. So there are different ways how you can work with stencils. So you can use them like I do use it here, adding through the stencil some paint, but there are other ways too. Let's see if I'm gonna show that too. And then I'm just pulling a print, and I had two papers. So yeah. I don't know about you, but I always have the feeling my table shrinks while I'm working. I'm constantly looking for my stuff because there is so many things on the table because I want to try out this and that, and yeah, it's just the way I work. Here I did grab another one of my stencils and decided to go with the bold red just to give a little bit more of a pop of a color. So yeah. And remember, it is still the backgrounds I'm working on. It's not the finished focal element. For me, it is still background. Now in this video, I'm also experimenting a little bit while I'm editing whether I should add some music or not. I mean, if you like sound or not. I mean, obviously talking is also sound, but I'm really thinking about just having only me talking and no music at all in this video. Just let me know in the comments if you prefer it this way or not. And again, as you can see, never waste any paint. So I use my another piece of paper to pick up the color that I have on the stencil. And yes, I don't clean stencils either too very often. I just leave them mostly the way how they are. Once the acrylic paint is dry, it doesn't do anything. Except on those bubble wraps. Sometimes if you use bubble wraps with leftover paint, those little bits and pieces get onto your next jelly print, which I don't mind at all. I actually like it because it gives you this serendipity of you never know how it comes out. Now it is kind of hard to see. It is a very lightweight pencil line, but I'm sketching on some scrap piece of paper, some flowers. I also did do some jugs and some vases, but it is about the same process. I don't think you need it to see it again. So here I'm using a China marker. For the next things I'm gonna use, which I don't show in the video, I also gonna use a Sharpie marker, and I would recommend, if you don't want those black lines from the China marker on your jelly plate, go with the Sharpie marker. I don't mind those black lines. It adds again another dimension or another something to my prints. If you don't like it, that's totally personal preference. I would recommend use a Sharpie and let it dry completely. Or maybe you are as well established with just cutting it freehand without any pre-drawing. That's another version too. Here you're gonna see me doubling up my foil just to have two at once. Who doesn't like that? Work once, have two. Now here we come to the part where we finally do our final last pull on the jelly plate. I'm gonna use those masks. I'm gonna arrange them now way I like it. The good thing with those masks, you can turn them around any way you want. They work from both sides, so sometimes that's helpful. And I also have to decide on which background I'm gonna use it. You can see me tapping on the table because I'm not sure what I want. Didn't like that, so I just left it without an additional flower. To pull my final print, I'm gonna use some Titan Buff. You can use any, in my opinion, neutral color to give a little bit of difference between the background and the masked off area. And yes, I thought I'm gonna show you that. I did forget to pull off the masks, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. Um, they stick onto the paper. So that was a failure. That's gonna be a collage paper. Just to show you, we make mistakes, and that's not in the end of the world. I mean, it's just paper and a little bit paint. So let's move on to the next. Now let's see whether I can do it right now. Again, I'm using some mask, and as I said, I don't clean my mask. You can see the purple one, but there is also another one on the right of this piece. Probably hard to see, but there are two masks. You're gonna see it better when I have revealed the masks from the gel plate. I use a pokey tool. You could use, no, I actually use a tweezer. If you don't have a tweezer, you use the pokey tool to lift it up at one corner and then take it off. Now here we are rolling. This should be a print I could use. And here we are. Yes, that's the way you should do it. But hey, life happens. Now I'm switching to another mask, which is again, it is the Bea and Benny, and you can turn it either side. This time Bea is on the right side, Benny is on the left side, but if you turn it around, you have it the other way around. This time I'm going for a purple to cover up the non-wanted backgrounds. I want the background just where the masks are. Again, I'm using a tweezer to lift it up. Sometimes I try to put it on some other papers. You're gonna see another failure. I did leave it too long on the paper and it's gonna tear the paper. So think about whether you really wanna use it. Now here I'm working on the outlines I was talking about in the intro. I'm using Stabilo All, which is also water soluble. If but you could use also a black colored crayon, which is water soluble. So I'm just enhancing a little bit the outlines just to give it a little bit more of a definition. And yeah, I'm using here a water tank brush. They are very handy, but if you don't have, just use a plain brush you have and a little bit of water. That gives you the same effect. Activating the Stabilo All makes it a little bit darker. And by the way, I'm just remember, I didn't use ordinary colored crayons, which you probably could use too. I did use actually the ink dense colored pencil. They are even, they're called ink dense because they get intense when you wet them with water. So yeah, again, here is one in a landscape mode, not in a portrait mode. Now, I'm not going to use on every print those outlines with either the Inktense or the Stabilo All, doesn't matter which one. I think it depends a little bit on how much your background stands out from the last print you took. Like here, I had a light color and it just didn't stand out so much as in like other prints where I had a really dark contrast between maybe black and dark and light, or maybe I have used very complementary colors, so it gives also more contrast if you use complementary colors. Now, I would love to see what you come up with. We can connect over on Instagram. You can see the handle on the screen, but I also have it down below in the description. I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Bye.